Hi, everyone. Happy Monday. Happy Monday to you. So let's talk about purpose. Let's talk about purpose as you start out your week. Last week was a really gritty, gracy, fun, tough, challenging, all the things week for us, for me. I'll speak for myself. I sent my daughter off to school. We had a bunch of stuff happening in our company. We had lots of fun things happening with clients, and we had just lots and lots of stuff. So I want to talk for just a few minutes, especially as you start your week. I want to talk for a few minutes about the power of staying connected to purpose and the power of pausing and staying present and in self-partnership with yourself, no matter what is happening. So here's what happens when you're not connected to purpose, when you're not present, and when you're not in self-partnership. In my experience for myself, and then also what we see with our clients and just other human beings that we know in the world. In my experience, what happens when we're not connected to purpose, we're not present, we're not pausing, and we're not in self-partnership, that's actually where we really start to get very, very, very tired. That's actually where burnout starts to happen. We tend to have unintended impact. We tend to get overwhelmed with all the energy around us, other people's energy, other people's stress. I don't know if you've ever noticed, I'm sure I don't even need to paint this picture. I'm going to get you out of this picture in just a moment and take you to where you want to go. But you probably have noticed you start to worry about something. Maybe you're worried about finances, or you're worried about your team, or you're worried about whatever's happening, and you start to focus on that thing. And then you're moving fast and you're in react mode. And what will happen is in that space, we make funky decisions. We don't stop to actually connect with our team. We have unintended impact on our team, which, by the way, unintended impact on the team, like nobody wakes up in the morning and says they want to have bad impact on their team or the people they care about. But we have it all the time. So unintended impact on your team, the cost of that is pretty significant, because now you're costing your team energy. You're breaking into a little bit of your energetic equity, trust and equity that you have with the team, which hopefully you've built up a lot of that. So if something does happen, you got a little bit of grace. Hopefully your team gives you a little bit of grace. But the impact and the time that will take to fix that and to get that back to where it was, it's just not worth cruising through really quickly and not being present and pausing before you react. I hope that makes sense. I kind of said that backwards, but bottom line is, if you can pause and get present and get connected to purpose before you engage with your team or make a decision or give someone feedback or whatever it might be, if you can do that, it will mean that the quality of that connection, the quality of that output, the quality of that feedback is going to be that much better. And then your team gets to stay intact. Their emotional equity stays intact. The energetic equity of you and your team stays intact. And then they're going to continue to put their energy into creating amazing results for your company and your customers. So you can either have, somebody said to me the other day that they weren't sure if they wanted to address something that was happening with their team. They said, I just feel like we keep trying to work it out. It's not happening. It's really hard right now. I'm exhausted. I'm not excited about my job right now. But I think I might just let it keep going, because to actually address it feels really exhausting to me. So I said, well, let's put the two things together, because both are exhausting. You can either be exhausted because you have team dynamics that aren't working, and you just decided to just kind of deal with them and tolerate them. That's an exhaustion. Like, that's actually costing you way more energy than you even realize. It's also probably costing you way more money and creativity and innovation and all the good things. And equity, leadership equity, trust and credibility, it's probably costing you way more than you realize if you're tolerating dynamics and just working around them and just, fine, I'll just deal with it. It's costing you way more than you realize. So there's that cost of exhaustion. Or the other exhaustion is to stop, pause, get really present, connect with purpose of why it's important to get the team back on track, or to give the feedback, or to speak up, or whatever. And then to do the hard thing and have the hard conversation. So yes, that's exhausting. That's scary. I get it. But actually leading that conversation, that's a moment of exhaustion and effort that then most likely 9 times out of 10 is going to clear the space. So you can actually start to operate as a team at a higher vibration, and at least in more honest space. And that's going to clear a lot of energy for you. So maybe it's a moment of exhaustion, or it's, a big, bold move, or it's very brave, or whatever it might be for you. But that's just a moment. versus tolerating it and tolerating it and tolerating it. So part of this and what I'm thinking about this morning is just really looking at, if you can connect to purpose and why it's important for you to be naming things that are going on, or taking care of yourself, or whatever it might be, if you can connect to purpose, that's going to help give you more fuel and more courage, really, to do what you need to do in order to move your team forward and to build trust and credibility and do your best work together. Before that, even if you can make sure that you're pausing and being present, they all work together, right? Pausing and presence. If I can pause and get present with myself before I go to give my team feedback or be reactive, or in the case of the situation I mentioned before, if I can pause and get present to what's the cost of not speaking up in this dynamic, what's the cost and what would the benefit be of speaking to it? If I can pause and get present and really set my intentions around that, I'm going to move through that thing more easily. If I'm connected to purpose, that's going to fuel my reason for moving through that thing. And if I'm in self-partnership, and self-partnership is a whole nother video we're going to hang up here in a second, but self-partnership, if I'm in self-partnership, which means that I am really partnering with myself and standing up for myself and paying attention to my self-care, my well-being, how I'm talking to myself, all that good stuff. If I'm in partnership with myself, that's going to give me more energy and stamina and resilience to navigate through any dynamics that might be off. So there's a lot in this video. I encourage you to actually watch it again, because I know I went in a couple different directions with stuff, but bottom line, get connected to purpose. That will fuel you through anything that's going on. You got to be connected to purpose. Get present and pause before you're reacting. Get present and pause to set your intentions before you move into something, and then be in self-partnership. So you make sure you take really good care of yourself. Those three things together, there is an antidote to burnout in there somewhere. So have fun with it. Have a great week. If you like these, if they're helpful, please like, share, subscribe to YouTube, follow, do all the things. And remember that we have a 2-day immersion event happening in September that still has spaces in it, though it is starting to fill up, which is really fun to watch. So we do have an event if you want to come and work with me privately in a room for a couple days. Okay. Have a beautiful